Weekend League yet again. We're back here, and I believe it's the final round here of the Weekend League of the Gavra Racing series, and it's been a pretty interesting season up until now. As you can assume, it's a pretty interesting time to be around, and, well, it is time to figure out what's going to happen in today's race. And we've got some static over your mic.
Yeah, there's something was just happened. Okay. Right. So everything is fine now.
Now, it is time to look for the championship. The Weekend League. Now, the Weekend League is a very interesting series. It's the only series that runs on the weekend, as you would anticipate. It is going to be pretty interesting, I think, today. So, we are here for the United States Grand Prix. It is the 13th of June 2021, and it is time to get this underway. Let's take a little look at the standings. Now, the Drivers' Championship is already won by, God, this is going to be butchered, but just Gavra.
I believe you're on the wrong one. It's the Weekend League, the first one.
Yeah.
F1 Weekend League, not Weekend League 2. I believe. Yeah, there's F1 2020 Weekend League. Yeah, I'll tell the standings now. So Ben Roberts first, 96 points. Heblerino 89 points. Mikey takes third, so very close between the top three. Then it's a bit escalating between Black Pixel and the Hebler, both 64 and 58 respectively. JB Surreal 57, Moksha with 50. Williams, it's 7th and 8th respectively, with Jotzi Kev as a replacement, 40 points, so very good from him. Now, well, yeah, that should be the standings. There's more down, but obviously there's a big championship fight, so let's see what can the top three do. So it's between Mikey, Heblerino and Ben Roberts.
Okay, I'm not sure whether you... I'm very confused. But let's get the action underway. There's an Alfa Romeo out on track leading the way. Ripta 13. In the Alfa Romeo, he's invalidated his outlap, but that's fine. Can pretty much do whatever you want on an outlap here. Circuit of the Americas then. Pretty tough circuit to get right, especially if you're on controller. This is a circuit which you may struggle with, specifically through Sector 1. You've got very tight S's, very difficult to nail that specific section of the circuit. But when you get it right, it is very, very rewarding. You can easily win or lose tenths of a second there, easily. And that is very important that you don't lose out there. Now, it could be very interesting. We've got quite a few drivers out on track. I believe everyone except, Moksha on track. And Moksha's just left the pit lane. There's a yellow flag in Sector 3. I believe that's one of the Haas cars. Just going slowly, trying to put a bit of a gap. Now Ripta on his hot lap. Although you want to watch out for that racing point behind Ben Roberts. He might get a bit of slipstream, get that benefit down the straight, which Ripta won't get, as they're just a bit of kerfuffling towards the back as drivers sort themselves out. Pretty good for Ripta through the S section. He's clearly not struggling all too much in the early stages of this lap, as the Alfa Romeo looks to be relatively on rails here at Circuit of the Americas, and as they now head down to one of the longest straights, the longest straight on this calendar, no, on this track, sorry. Now, expecting to go about 200 miles an hour, maybe 205 if you really get the maximum out as he hits that 205 barrier I was talking about. Sends it a little bit deep into that very tight hairpin, and now move on to sector number 3. You've got the very long swooping right-hander here, which he's now got to contend with. Can be very easy to invalidate it on the inside. And he invalidates it on the outside. So now it's going to be Ben Roberts behind. No, not Ben Roberts. Oh, it's, I believe, Tabai Top Decks. He'll be the first to set a representative lap time in this qualifying session. What is he going to set? He will set the first time, and it is a 132.3. De Hebler, a 132.418. Isaac Smart comes in with a 141.9, so clearly not a very good lap time for him. JMB Surreal, a 132.411, closest to Ty Top Decks, who is currently on provisional pole position with just under 13 minutes left to go in this session. Now Shortbread moves up to 5th, Liam up to 4th. Pretty good lap times for them. MRC, Mr. C. Oh, okay. He is clearly not done a blistering lap time there. Clearly going for a bit of a slow lap. Maybe gonna get the tyres into the window, then go for another attack and really send it on that attack lap. As you see in real life Formula 1. And now Ripta in the Alfa Romeo is on a hot lap, using those same tyres, and I knew that Jutsakev was one to watch, and he proves it as he goes up to provisional pole by nearly 2 seconds. So he's doing absolutely godlike work in the Williams car. Will his teammate be able to do anything close to his performance? We'll find out shortly. Now, who else is on a lap? Well, his teammate is. Heblerino is on a hot lap. He's just about to finish this lap. What's it going to be? Heblerino has had some good performances. And he goes up to 2nd at 131.5. 4 tenths clear of his teammate De Hebler in 3rd. That's a pretty good showing for the McLaren team so far. Moksha now is going to cross the line in his Williams. He's not going to be very close to his teammate at all. He's only in 7th for a 133.1. Now, you've got no one really lighting up any sectors here. Mikey B is on an out lap, so he'll be going on to a hot lap shortly. However, not yet is he on that hot lap. It's not really ultimate. Ooh, Shortbread is on a hot lap. I can tell you that much. He's a 2nd up already as it stands, and he is looking blistering right now. Now, he did set a lap time at 135.2. Doesn't appear to be what he is made of, as he's looking very handy so far as he goes into the very, very tight hairpin. Not sure whether it's a hairpin or a turn. He's 3.4 seconds up as he goes through the sector 2 timing. This could be a top 5 lap if he can just get this 3rd sector just right, which I think looks like he's doing. There's a McLaren there of Heblerino just in front, and oh, that's not great for Shortbread. He's invalidated that lap. Not a great place to be. Heblerino comes into the pit lane. I said I saw him pulling it in. I was right. Now, Mikey B on his hot lap. He's just coming out of the hairpin leading onto the main straight here. And he is absolutely going full throttle down the straight, as you'd expect. 204 miles an hour as he goes into the braking zone. Staying in 3rd gear. Most drivers go down to 2nd. Interesting there. He now goes through some of the more technical circuits. Lock up there on the front left as he goes through some very tricky corners. Very hard to get all of these corners right in sequence. When you do, it's pretty rewarding. Quite a few temps gained here. Oh, he's got it invalidated going into the penultimate corner, and that's just not great for him. Now, looking if anyone's setting any times. There is Tabai top decks. He is currently 4th. Could he improve up the order? Well, he's nearly 3 temps up through Sector 1. So why don't we follow along with the Haas driver as he continues on this lap. Could be improvement maybe up to 3rd or 2nd, depending on how the rest of this lap goes. Could be very, very interesting. So we'll have to keep an eye on the Haas driver, keeping an eye on if there's anyone else doing anything particularly amazing. There's not really all too much going on. Ben Roberts, Black Pixel and Mikey B are on hot laps, all of them, but they are the 3 drivers yet to set a time. Isaac Smart is 8 seconds off the nearest driver. Quite a big pace difference here, but it's very, very interesting to see. Now, Tabai is still looking pretty strong here, pretty handy in that Haas car. Can he get it right through these last few corners? Oh, a little bit of a wobble, I think, on the rear end. Could have lost him a bit of time. Somehow doesn't get it invalidated and moves up to 4th. Shortbread up to 2nd in the Alfa Romeo. And closest challenger, I think actually Shortbread was already there. A bit confusing, these timing screens. Mikey B sent an invalidated lap time there, a 1:35, which would be only enough for 11th as it stands. Ben Roberts also on a hot lap. What can he do in his racing point? Well, we see Black Pixel jump up the timing screens from 14th all the way to 3rd with a 1:31.474 for the Ferrari driver. As Ben Roberts now through the final few corners he goes, and crossing the line, it's gonna be a 1:32.6, puts him 8th as it stands. Mikey B, the only driver in the session yet to set a time. This is not particularly great for the AlphaTauri driver, still not set a time yet, and just not quite putting a good enough lap together, which can actually be put on the board. Got all of his laps invalidated thus far. Isaac Smart is on a hot lap in the racing point, not all too much to say there, but the Williams driver on provisional pole position is on a hot lap. Now he's a bit down when I began to ride on board with him, but the question is, what can he clamber in these now the final sector? He was just under the threshold of improving as he went through the Sector 2 timing screen, and he's absolutely fully sending it through the final few corners, and he's about to cross the line. Question is, will it be an improvement for the Williams driver? It will. It's a 1:30.257 for the Williams driver, and he is just 2 temps.
Yeah, so Jutsikev is on pole position. Amazing lap from him. This man is just as a rapid man. Isaac Smart bounced back with 4th, second fastest actually by 4/10. Heblarina closing as well. I'm not seeing anyone on fast laps at the moment, but Moksha is going through the final corner. Can he do move a position? Let's see, going for the final corner, he does, and makes a 32.2, so good lap from him, and moves himself from 9th place actually, and Ben Roberts has to settle for 10th, so not good for the championship leader.
No, it's not. I'm still not sure on the standings. I think, based on the pace of just Kev, I would have thought he would be leading the championship. He's currently 5 tenths ahead of any other driver, but I'm not sure whether we're looking at the right standings. It's a bit confusing. But it is very, very interesting. The scenes you've got here. I want to know, though, in the chat, who do they think's likely to win this race? Because, yeah, who does everyone watching think could win this race? Obviously, you've got Kev on provisional pole, but the question is, can he keep it there? It's all good having a fast setup for qualifying, but if you can't deliver that in the race, yeah, if you can't deliver in the race, you're going to struggle quite a lot, because that's where the points are earned, and if you can't earn the points in the race, then you're not doing it quite right. Now, this could be a pretty interesting one, I think. There's not many drivers on a lap. There's Moksha, he's on a very slow lap, clearly an in lap. There's not really anyone on a hot lap. Mikey B is on another out lap. He's probably used about 4 sets of tyres thus far in this session, as he continues to not set lap times. Unreal statements coming out of my mouth here today. You can tell I've clearly not done commentary for a little while, especially with Gavra, but we'll go with it. We'll go with the flow. Shortbread says he's 3 seconds up already. I'm not sure how much truth there is to that. Not sure how realistic a 1:28 is going to be, but he's only a tenth up through sector number 1. Could be looking at maybe jumping Heblerino if he messed up one of the sectors, but it's unlikely. He's currently 4th, could potentially improve. Isaac Smart is in 2nd. Really good lap time from the racing point. And the closest challenger to Jutskev, who is still on provisional pole. 2 minutes left to this session. Jutskev still out in front here. Now you got Ben Roberts, he's on a lap time. There's quite a few drivers here actually on a lap time. Mikey B still hasn't set a lap time. What lap time is he actually going to put on the board? And the question is, will it be a good one? We haven't seen his pace thus far. He's going through the penultimate corner now. Bit of a wide line through there, not really using the corners aggressively as he maybe could. Now goes through the final corner. What lap time is it going to be? It's a 1:31.1, which puts him 5th. Well, he then got demoted. I think he was 4th temporarily, and then I think Shortbread put in a better lap time. I can hear myself.
Yeah, your mic's echoing when I talk. Yeah, but Jutsikev's still on pole position at the moment, so he is holding on pretty much. Can he solidify his pole position, Byron? That's the big question. But obviously, Mikey has a bit bounced back with 9 tenths, a deficit, so pretty big. But where is I might be blind, but Ben Roberts just gone 6th fastest, so that is. Can that be the best he can be? Black Bills are going for the final call. Can he try and knock off Ben Roberts and Mikey? They do. So that's very good for him, and he will be now starting 5th unless one of Tabby Top Decks, Hebler, and the others will start it. But now gone on board with J&B Surreal, and now he's going through the final corner. I believe he's starting a lap. As now that's a car behind him just stopped it like a blunk, and now he's gonna go now into turn 1 very soon. Now he's gonna obviously keep the cover right hand side, break around the 100 meters, and then go to 3rd gear, and now trying to just go as close to the curb as possible. Now very difficult S's, throwing the car, making the car flow. Obviously the sausage curbs can be very, very bad if you invalidate, of course, in real life, because nevertheless, JB Sorrell now go to the straight, now go to this braking around just maybe 75 meters, turning to second, now to third for JB Cyril. Now he's going to have the DRS wide open, going over 200 miles per hour on the Renault, so on board with the rear wing of the Renault. Now he's going through, brake around 100 meters, use all the curb possible, as he doesn't use that, so that could be pretty strict for him and very difficult for him, and could have lost a bit of time there. But at the moment he's going through his very difficult hairpin, very difficult for traction, I'll say. Now he's going through the long right-hander, very harmful on the tyres. This is where the tyres start screaming for cold tyres rather than hot temperature. But now he's going through the final corner now. Can he improve? We're going to now look. DRS open to the line, and he goes 9th fastest and goes into the top 10 pretty comfortably from De Hebler by 2/10 deficit. Liam is the last competitor, but it's Jutsikev on pole position once again.
Indeed, unless Heblerino somehow has a mad final sector here, it will be Jutsikev on pole position. By nearly 5/10 of a second, which is a very large margin to take pole position by. And Heblerino does improve, goes up to third, so jumps shortbread for third place, so he'll start in the best position to slipstream the pole sitter. So that's a really good position to be in, as we now wait for the session to end as Dubai Top Decks is put into the pit box. Now we're just waiting for qualifying to end, and then the race can get underway. 50% race, I believe, here
25.
at Circuit of the Americas.
It's 25% one-shot quali, and then a 25% race around the circuit. So track limits by road can be very harmful, obviously. You could even get a validation if you exceed the track limits or all the sausage curbs, the S's. So let's see what these drivers do. I think they'll play it very safe, because you can win the race by penalties. A lot of people say that. So now we're going to have a look at the grid. Jutsikev a pole position very comfortably from Isaac Smart. Heblerino takes third after having his very good final sector from 0.063 100th of a second to shortbread. Black Pixel fifth. Mikey, Tabby Top Decks, Ben Roberts, pretty disappointing for him. Let's see what we can do in the race. JMB Cyril takes 9th. De Hebler takes 10th. The Moksha, MRCS, Liam and Peter complete top 10. And Peter got disqualified for some reason. But now we move on to the race. And this will be a very interesting one. Obviously, strategy-wise, will be a very easy one. A one-stop around the Circuit of the Americas. And yeah, let's see what will the drivers do at the start. So obviously, tyre wear, if it was a 50% race, it would be very difficult, obviously soft to medium or soft to hard if you're playing it safe. But a lot of people would go on that aggressive soft to medium. So it will definitely be a soft to medium unless it was a 50% race, but unfortunately it isn't. So we'll be for 25% race right now, and then it's going to be a one-shot qualifying, where all the drivers will be competing on one lap to try and get pole position or lower. And then another 25% race, which is summed in the sprint race format of points.
Indeed. This could be a very interesting race, as you said. Lots of opportunity to gain, lose across the board. A lot of drivers didn't have ideal qualifying sessions, so maybe some drivers are going to be looking to catch up. Now, I'm not sure if we actually get a formation like we do. I wasn't actually entirely sure. Why has someone joined the voice chat? Okay, goodbye. Thanks for joining us.
That was a bit weird. Thunder accidentally joined the party, so a bit weird there. How dare you? But now, obviously, the formation that little drivers will be warming up their tyres and getting energy into their brakes and making sure they'll be nice and warmed up to the start of the race. Obviously, pretty short run to turn one. Obviously, it's very wide, a lot of space. Obviously, a lot of drivers will go definitely to the outside because that's a lot of space. So let's see what Kev plays this. I think he'll play it very, very safe. Obviously, Kev was one of the fastest drivers here. It might be worth
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Nazi, the fanboy of Mattia Benotto, the Ferrari strategist, and the actual like team principal. Yeah, it was Thunder who joined the party, which was just absolutely unnecessary. But now we're gonna focus on the race because this can decide a lot. Obviously, Baron, championship can be switched on its head or not switched on its head. So it's a lot. But obviously in F1, you never know what's going to happen. So Jutsi Kev's now warming up the tyres and seeing now going to approach his first grid slot, and let's see what can obviously that Heblerino and Isaac Smart do. So Isaac Smart probably the first time. Is that someone in the wall? I believe that's Black Pixel. Yeah, Black Pixel's hit the wall at the exit of the very fast left-hander. It'll be an interesting season. Yeah, Gavra, pretty similar to last season, but Byron, now we're going to set for light out. Obviously, the lights will not go out because of Codemasters. It's just absolutely unfortunate. So hopefully this will be fixed by next game. But now, nevertheless, now the lights will go out. But I've already explained it. I don't know why I've just said that. But now we're gonna really go light out. Now the revs rise for the first race, and it's
Lights out and away we go. And it's actually a pretty good start, as you would assume, from Kev immediately. Shortbread, though, having an absolute worldly first corner. He's already looking very racy indeed. Heblerino up to second, already gained a position. Isaac Smart losing that position. Someone's already off. That's for Pitta in the Alfa Romeo. Moksha is the last driver that hasn't had a collision or anything so far. So already Liam's gained 2 places off the race start. Shortbread's lost 2, started 4th. He's currently down in 7th. Black Pixel's off. Black Pixel in the Ferrari just got, I think, a snap and just went off into a wall. That's very unfortunate for the Alfa Romeo. And now to buy top decks, try to get past Shortbread, but Shortbread was having absolutely none of it. Mikey B up into 4th of the start, but it is Jutskev who leads away by nearly a second already. He's having an absolutely incredible start. The Heblerino is going to try and keep him honest at some point. De Hebler up into 7th. And JMB Surreal, I believe, lost the place temporarily and got back up into 9th place here at Circuit of the Americas. Very squabbly on the first lap, just how we like it here at Gavra Racing. Lots of position changes already to go over. Many position changes. Moksha has taken a bit of a tumble. Not sure if there's damage to his Williams. Doesn't look it, as Jutskev crosses the start-finish line for the first race. And that is a pretty good start. He's already got a 1.3 second advantage to P2. Pretty good start for him.
Yeah, exactly. Jutsikev, very, very good start. Obviously, I saw the final sector. He's very good in the final sector. Heblerino is kind of comfortable now. Isaac Smart, he's dropped him out of DRS, which is crucial, very crucial. Mikey's behind him, pressurizing Isaac Smart to maybe going into mistake. Obviously, mistakes here can be very costly. Ben Roberts going to go round the outside and onto the head, but can he try and get the move done now? They're going to be side by side through the straight now. It's going to be a drag race to the next hard braking zone of 10 I believe. As now they will be side by side. Who will be more confident in the brakes? It's going to be Ben Roberts round the outside. He gets the move done. Very good move from the Britman and moves into 7th, and now he's going to try and chase after Tabby Dopdex in the Haas car, but Ben Roberts has to settle for 7th at the moment. Ben Roberts will try everything to try and get past Tabby Dopdex because it's crucial for the championship. Mikey is now losing ground to Heblerino as he actually got past Isaac Smart. So Isaac Smart not on the pace fire run, as you can see. Dropped 2 places in the space of 3 laps. So not very good for Isaac Smart. Not having the pace at the moment. But let's see what can obviously Ben Roberts do. He's looking very rapid in the racing point. And he's pressurising everyone on the grid. And Ben Roberts could be the one to watch out for.
There's a lot of drivers actually right now that could be ones to watch. Tobias Dobdex, first driver to get a 3-second time penalty, and then Liam follows very shortly. But Mikey B could be looking at a P2 result here. He's already gained 3 places, so he's certainly one to watch. But as you said, Ben Roberts not looking bad. De Hebler, again, not looking bad. Quite a few drivers here are looking very, very strong. Now this could be very interesting though, because some drivers seem to have stronger race pace than they do quali, and that's definitely something we are seeing right now, as some drivers are struggling more than others, especially when the tyres are going through that final sector where they can get very hot. Now I'm just keeping a little eye out for anything going on. Doesn't look like there's all too much. Ooh, Mikey B lost it. He had a big snap on his rear end. Oh, and so is Jutskovic in the Williams. He's hit the wall.
It was Jutsikev. It was actually Jutsikev. I was when you said he
Jutsikev, yeah, he's gone into a wall.
Damage.
He had a spin out of the last corner and got damage to his end plate. And Heblerino now leads the race. Mikey B is going side by side with Isaac Smart, trying to go through side by side through the S's. Didn't work.
Very, very close. Mikey now picks up a 3-second time penalty, so the penalty will rise. Obviously track limits. There's a potential championship winner. Yes, Heblerino can win the championship. Remember, it's 3 drivers. Yeah, it's fine, Gavra. So JB Sorrell gets past Jutsikev. Jutsikev has wing damage, and as you can see, as Mikey's retired. What has happened to him?
That's just retiring in the menu as well. He's going to hold drivers up as well.
Retirement?
That is a manual retirement.
Yes, now Moksha goes down the inside, possibly with the RS open. And now R. Peter will try and go round the outside. Very bold from R. Peter. Now Moksha will have a very comfortable round the outside of a Portuguese driver. And he gets to move down, but he goes a bit deep as just nearly done a stroll as R. Peter hits the rear of Moksha as they both go wide. And I just nearly did a stroll there, and I should not be doing that because that would be just absolutely unfortunate. But R. Peter does have wing damage. Jutsikev is pitting, and now is he gonna pit for fresh up tyres? Because I believe it was Liam saying there will be rain in the middle of the race, so expect carnage, Baron. I believe he's just gone off the mic.
Sorry, I just quickly muted my mic.
Yes,
Heblerino out in front. Jutkev currently 13th, so last position for him, the pole sitter. Shortbread in 3rd, back up to where he was, courtesy of some of the on-track chaos, but he's pressuring Isaac Smart and could on this straight get up into P2. Does he pull alongside? He does, and he's already a car in front. That is Shortbread 224 up into P2. And it's a pretty good showing from him already. There's, I still don't know how to pronounce this name. Merckx 1512 is currently in 8th place and pressurizing 7th of JMB Surreal, and could potentially get that position very, very shortly. So keep an eye on that battle as that emerges. Remember, you've got Liam in the Mercedes behind that could get in the mix if they hold each other up too much. That provides an interesting opportunity for the Mercedes driver to get a bit higher up into those points. But Isaac Smart is really the one to watch. He's now behind Shortbread. What's he going to be able to do? He's got the slipstream. He'll get the DRS. Can he stay with and maybe re-overtake the Alfa Romeo? And the rain's coming. The rain is beginning to fall onto the circuit. And that could be an interesting span in the works. How long is it going to last? Will it last to the end of the race? Will it not? We will certainly find out. Or will it go to the end of the race and not be a change to intermediate tyres? Remember, these drivers could theoretically just go to the mediums and go to the end of the race. So there could be some interesting gambles up and down the field here. Now, Isaac Smart is keeping Shortbread honest, and it's already beginning to rain pretty heavily here, actually, at the Circuit of the Americas. We could maybe see some interesting strategies play out here. If it gets wet enough for intermediates, some drivers might pit for inters, others might not. And remember, if DRS is disabled, they don't actually have to technically pit. So there might... I just had the mad theory. Some drivers who've already pitted might just be able to go straight to the end of the race, not swap to another compounded tyre. Surprised people outside the top 10 maybe didn't start on the mediums knowing that, but very interesting indeed. As, well, the Red Bull of Merckx 1512 comes into the pit lane. What tyres is it going to be? Intermediates for Merckx. Interesting. So some driver, well, one driver so far, thinks the intermediates are the best right now. I'm pitting for the inters. Some drivers not thinking that. So, could be very interesting. Now, this will be interesting. Keep an eye on the Williams to see what he can do. Because I'm just keeping an eye on it. He's very struggling. He's definitely gone onto the inters too early. He's like airplaning. It's not aquaplaning, it's airplaning, because there's not enough water for him to be on these inters.
Yeah, I believe it's too early for inters, but it can be very heavy rain very soon, obviously. I just have to wait because there can be some scenarios where the rain just stays there and it's just not enough for intermediates. And I'm just looking, I believe these drivers are stretching as much as they can. As Heblarino dives into the pits, is he going to pit for inters or mediums? But I believe it's a good chance he'll pit for the inter tyres. Shortbread takes the lead as Isaac Spot follows him in, as well as Tabby Dubdex. And more drivers, definitely.
It is intermediate tyres going on Heblarino. Now, it seems like the inters are a very treacherous compound, though. As we're seeing with Merckx, he's really struggling on the intermediates. So, some drivers are really going to struggle here. However, it is a bit more tuned to the intermediates now, I think. I'm not sure if it's ready for the inters still, but it is a bit better for the people going onto the inters now than it was for Merckx a lap ago when he went onto it. And Moshe's retired. That looks like a pit lane retirement to me.
Yeah, I think it's a manual retirement for Moksha. Very unfortunate for him. But I believe the inters are just not enough at the moment. But it looks like the my DRS is disabled, so it's inters. It's inters.
Repeater?
It has to
be. Interestingly, the Williams repeater.
He's
no,
got
the Alpha,
wets.
He's got wets.
Ooh.
Wets.
Now this can pose that there's going to be heavy rain at the end of the race, but yes, as you can see, he's just absolutely bowled it into the S's. So it's not time for inters, unfortunately, for our Peter. He's mixed up the strategy, but Jutsikev, he's absolutely, since that spin, and with also 2 pit stops, he's way at the back. from MRCS, or Mercs if you prefer. Liam as well is flying behind Black Pixel, and just look how much he's struggling. Byron is now, Liam's gonna easily try and go around the outside, but he's gonna try to do a switchback. I think, yeah, he tries to switch back, but Black Pixel's probably not gonna defend this, as now Liam's going round the outside as Black Pixel is
round.
Yes, Black Pixel is round.
There's a bit of contact there.
It could be possibly contact. So pretty
yeah, it was a little bit of contact on the rear tyre, and that just sent Black Pixel round. That's very unfortunate. De Hebler comes into the pit lane. It's definitely intermediate conditions now, but it's still a bit of a struggle, I think, for the Inters. It's not clearly intermediates. It's still kind of, I think, on that crossover point.
I believe it's Inters, because if it's DRS disabled, then it's a good signal that that it's Inters, because if you stay out of wets, you still... Is it just... No, I thought it was RPs are just gaining on Black Pixel, because he was pitting. But RP now is just going wide everywhere. He's not pitting, which is very, very strange. But Eblerino leads the race. Jutsi Kev not having a very good race since that spin on the final corner. So let's see. Can he try and bounce back, maybe possibly get into the top 5, which is very unlikely, definitely, but there's still opportunities as Isaac Smart is gaining on Heblerino, so Heblerino looks like to be struggling in these conditions.
Yeah, but remember, some drivers are going to be more tuned into wear, and others are going to be less tuned into the wear. I couldn't think of anything funny to say there. But, you know, I had a race yesterday, and it was wet to begin with, and then went to the dries, and I struggled in the wet conditions, but it got to the dry, and my pace ramped up, and I ended up winning the race. So, it's very different for these drivers. There's going to be totally different pace levels when you're fighting as kind of these different interchangeable conditions. Maybe Heblerino's got more of a dry setup on. We don't know these setups that these drivers have got, and that's what makes it so interesting to watch, because you have no idea. Repeater is still struggling on those wet tyres, the absolute worst choice I have ever seen in Formula 1 history, going on to wet tyres.
Yeah, pretty strange option there, but you never know. The rain can be worse, but there's a slim chance, as now there's 4 laps already in this United States Grand Prix for the first race, so there's a lot of laps going in, and a lot more laps remaining, obviously, for the next race. And that is 80 laps, I believe, if I'm correct. For maths is correct, and as Shortbread is still behind Isaac Smart, so Isaac Smart put in a little bit of pressure as Heblerino and Isaac Smart's gap is a bit fluctuated between a second and 8/10, so Isaac Smart can be struggling with dirty air, because dirty air can be as there's just an example. Isaac Smart goes very deep, and that could be dirty as Heblerino gains about 4/10 from that, so very good for not Isaac Smart, Heblerino.
Interestingly though, yeah, it could be a bit of dirty air wreaking havoc, but these conditions are very difficult, so who knows at this point. It could be absolutely anything. Interestingly though, Shortbread isn't far off. Ben Roberts isn't all too far off. He actually just had a rear end snap as I said that. Commentator's curse absolutely coming into effect here. And by the way, repeater pit for intermediate tyres. I know it's not particularly relevant considering he's not far away from being lapped and he's nowhere near anyone, but it's just funny. He's gone from the wet tyres to the intermediates. After finally deciding after about 4 laps that the intermediates were the better tyre. So, interesting strategies there at Alfa Romeo. It's a Ferrari level strategy if I've ever seen one. But Merckx gets a 3-second time penalty, which will be added to his time at the end of the race. He's not likely to lose a position unless he gets over 21 seconds of penalties, which, again, very unlikely. I'm keeping a little... Sorry.
That's right.
I was just saying that it's getting a bit close here at the top 4 here. Ben Roberts quite close. He's actually caught quite a few tenths on this lap to the third of Shortbread. Could be a very good result for Racing Point here. Currently second and fourth. Could be first and second maybe, if they really get some good pace here. Isaac Smart seems to have some really good pace here, so we could find some interesting strategies that could see Racing Point take a very good result here.
Yeah, this is very helpful for Ben Roberts, definitely, because Mike is DNF, this close championship rival, as well as Heblerino is leading the race. So that's about a 14-point deficit. So Heblerino can still compete for the championship, but Ben Roberts, I believe, has one hand on the championship, but can he get his second hand on the championship for the next race? Will Ben Roberts get his revenge from last season when he got second by 15 points, I believe, or more, from the British driver? But now he's closing in on Shortbread. He's going to try and go for to the inside for a very, very audacious dive. He looks for it, but he cannot, but he's right behind, so maybe Ben Roberts could be on course for the win if he tries to get past Shortbread. Shortbread makes a mistake, and can Ben Roberts try and go down the inside? He does, as Shortbread just leaves enough room for Ben Roberts to go down the inside. Now Ben Roberts going to switch to the outside now, and Shortbread's going to defend to the inside, as now they're side by side, and now Ben Roberts will dive this into the penultimate corner. Now they're still side by side as they bang wheels, and now go through the final corner. They're still side by side. This is amazing for both of them as they make more contact, as now they're both definitely using overtake, as now Ben Roberts gets past, but now Shortbread brakes very late, but Ben Roberts has very good traction and gets past Shortbread, as that's a yellow flag. That's our Peter, if I'm correct, in Alfa Romeo's. Now he's gonna now get lapped by Heblerino. Glad that ghosting is on, as now our Peter just cut as he's out. I believe he's hit the wall again, so pretty unfortunate for our Peter on the penultimate lap of the race. But yeah, Ben Roberts looks like to be very comfortable at the moment, but there is still opportunities for the British drivers. Now Isaac Smart is closing in on Heblerino, so they will be very close. Can Isaac Smart try and possibly dive it? He tries to, but cannot, as now Chutsikev does dive down the inside of Liam. Can he try and get past him before the straight? But Liam gets excellent traction and holds on to the position just from Jutsikev, as now Jutsikev will dive down the inside, I believe, and now he outbrakes Liam by a lot, but Liam could go for the switchback, but it's just too far to try and make a switchback, and Jutsikev moves himself up to 8th as Liam tries to maybe go for a payback dive bomb, but cannot, unfortunately. He's too far back, so Jutsikev with 8th place. But it's now the final lap, so the four drivers are closed by about 2 seconds, so it looks very close, as Timey Dr. X is pretty far behind.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on this battle for, I guess you could call it the lead. And we're looking at a very interesting scenario here. Both Racing Points looking... Oh, Ben Roberts just got a time penalty as I said that. Ah, this could be interesting.
Yes, so now Ben Roberts will be out of contention for the race win. So now it'll be Isaac Smart and Heblerino for the fight for the win. Now cut this Isaac Smart, but look how close he is now. The slipstream will be on Isaac Smart's favour now. Will Heblerino or Isaac Smart? Let's see now, on to the final lap with a couple of corners to go. And can Isaac Smart go for it? But I don't think it's in the bag for Isaac Smart. It might be Heblerino's, but there is still chances for Isaac Smart. There's mistakes to be made. There could be possibly, if I'm wrong, but now Heblerino looks to be comfortable, but Isaac Smart gets a very good exit. Actually entry to the very difficult right-hander, but I believe Heblerino's won it. Pretty pressured race from Heblerino. The German having a great race, and for his brother as well. He comes to the final corner and he wins the US Grand Prix and holds off the pressure from Isaac Smart. Shortbread completes the podium. Ben Roberts has to settle for fourth after collecting his time penalty on the final lap. Great racing between the four of them. Tabby Dopdex crosses the line fifth. Isaac Smart, JB Cyril takes fifth. Jutsi Kev takes sixth. Very good for Jutsi Kev from the back of the grid to sixth. So very good for Jutsi Kev. Obviously could have been a win, but it all fell for him when he spun and hit the wall at the final corner. Tabby Dopdex is seventh after a lot of penalties, and Debla is behind Tabby Dopdex by 0.003. Tenths of a second, so Debla could have gone seventh if he was faster by 0.03 seconds. But Ben Roberts is driver of the day according to Codemasters, so congratulations to him. And that wraps up the race.
According to Codemasters.
As now we finish the race, and yeah, Kevin Jutsi, very unlucky for you, mate. There's obviously the next race, but yeah, we're gonna look at the results again. Heblerino, Isaac Smart, Shortbread takes the podium. I believe Shortbread's first podium of the season, so Shortbread hasn't been really strong at the start, but he's showed that for the final two races. So that's great for him. Jutsi Kev, very unfortunate for him after spinning and hitting the wall on the final corner, but still collects the fastest lap by about 8 tenths to his nearest competitor, or not 4 tenths to the nearest competitor, as our Peter's just left the session. But there is still one more race to be done. JB Cyril, Jutsi Kev, Tabby Dopdex, Hebler, Liam and MRCs complete the top 10. Black Pixel after spinning takes 11. R Peter 12th after a very, very nice run on the wets. Moksha takes 13, and Mikey and Moksha are the retirees, and Mikey being the absolute massive one. So now I'm just
It was a pretty good race.
So I'm just quickly gonna look at the championship, just gonna check if it's won or what's the point deficit after the race. So some calculations has to be made, but nevertheless, Byron, that was a great race.
Yeah, it was a great race. Saw a lot of action there, really up and down the order. Really a lot of good performances that a lot of drivers should be happy with.
Yeah, so very good races. I'm looking. So Ben Roberts, after finishing fourth, gets 108 points, and Heblerino got the win with 25 points. So Ben Roberts is losing the championship by 6 points. So I believe so. Yes. So Heblerino has 114 points, and Ben Roberts has 108 on his name. Mikey will not be able to win this championship, unfortunately, for the Irish driver. Kev will have a decent race, obviously winning 2 races at the Japanese Grand Prix. Taking the full sweep with the fastest laps, 2 pole position and the 2 wins, which was just amazing. So, yeah. Let's see what can Ben Roberts do and Heblerino. So, I believe it's only 6 points a deficit, Byron. So, it's either Heblerino on his debut becoming the champion, or it's going to be the one and only Ben Roberts taking the championship. Will he have to settle second once again for the championship for the 2nd time in a row, I believe? Or will he win the championship finally after, I believe, 3 seasons he's been here? So, a long time coming for Ben Roberts. Can he try and get this championship settled, or can Heblerino take it?
Well, that's something we're going to find out very quickly, as you've got a one-shot quali and a 25% race. I'm not sure if they were supposed to change the track. I'm not sure. Obviously, I'm not all too familiar with the weekend league, but I'm just going to trust that it's right, which I think it is. I believe it is. Well, I've got 1 race to go, and this is the final race of the season, if I'm correct. So, 1 opportunity to prove it. The question is, who will fall and who will rise here at Circuit of the Americas? And that is something that we are very keen to find out.
Yeah, definitely. So now it's one-shot qualifying, so there's 1 lap that could decide everything. So who will be on pole position? Kev will probably be it. Obviously, that's a bold prediction. So let's see now. Obviously, we've got the lucky boy, Kev. So now we're going to go on board with him, Byron.
Yeah, he's on the mediums, interestingly, opting to go onto the slower tyre.
As now he's flying through the now he's got the fly through the S's now. Let's see if anyone invalidates here. So as you can see, I believe though it's invalidated, which is great. As now Kev is flying. He's really smooth on the throttle, on the steering wheels. Now Kev, very good exit from the end of the S's. I'm just looking now to Hebler, yeah, to Ben Roberts now. Not a very good exit, as now he is P3 at the moment for the British driver. Now he's going through the straight now. Will be able to try and clinch pole position from Heblerino. Now Ben Roberts will be braking late, and now to 3rd gear, and now going up the gears now through this very difficult right hander. Now going to this very tight and left-hander, very difficult for traction, as now he gets the traction absolutely perfectly, and now going through the right hand side. The tyres are squirming now for temperature decreasement, and now he's going through the final corner, and he will now stop across the line. Now DRS is open, and he does not take pole position, and it's actually very close. But Ben Roberts takes.
Though.
Yeah, Ben Roberts takes people before.
Yeah, Kev on the medium 7th. I think he could be very handy here. Very handy.
Yeah, true. As now Shortbread takes his first pole position in Gavra Racing. Amazing from him. Heblarini takes it by 7 milliseconds, and Isaac Smart by 3/100ths. Or if you want to say closest, 4/100ths. Ben Roberts two thirds behind. Hebler takes fifth. Black Pixel 6th, Juicy Kev 7th on the mediums, DM 8th, R Peter 9th, Tabby Dubdex 10th, then R Peter and Jane Bruce Rowe believe got disqualified. Now we move on to the race and we will see what will happen as, oh, apologies everyone, as now, apologies everyone for that, and yeah, so what happened, you catch it, just the spun, he spun on the final corner, he spun on the final corner on lap 4, 5, something around that, but now we're underway for the formation lap, so just going to set everything, the interval gaps, so you can see, but yeah, now Byron, we're setting for the formation lap, so Jutsi Kev is on the mediums, obviously qualifying on them, and JB Cyril is the other candidate on the mediums, and going for the alternate strategy compared to 10 drivers on the soft compound of tyres. So yeah, so it's either Heblerino or or not Isaac Smart, Ben Roberts. So Heblerino has the advantage. And Ben Roberts will try everything to close down that gap, so he needs to outscore Heblerino by 7 points to have a chance of winning the championship. So if Heblerino finishes second and Ben Roberts gets first without the fastest lap, that means he wins the championship by 1 point. So yes, definitely spicy, but this is a sprint race, so less points is obviously dealt. I just quickly forgot because I saying about the format, the normal one, but the sprint race is 12 point, 15 points for first, plus 1 for fast lap obviously. Second is 12 points, third is 10, and I'm not sure about the rest, but I only know the three ones. So Ben Roberts has to finish first, and Heblerino has to finish 4th or lower. Oh no, 5th or 6th lower. As now
could be very interesting as the lights look like they're going to go out, but we know that's not the case. And now we await as the drivers get ready. Shortbread on provisional pole position. It is lights out and away we go here at the Circuit of the Americas for the second time. It's a good start for Shortbread, a pretty good one for the Williams of Jutskovic 2 as chaotic into turn 1. Tabai top decks already down in the position. Jutkev actually, I said he got a good start. He didn't get a very good turn 1. He's already down the order. He's in 12th, so he's lost positions already. But Isaac Smart's off. That's a pretty big incident there. Rapita also just did something there, cut the corner massively. He's also just spun it into a wall. That's
a safety car.
A safety car.
Ooh, that's a safety car. So as Rapita's no wing. What has happened to him? He's got 8 seconds of penalties at the first lap. So the safety car has been deployed. Probably of debris or something like that, so that could have saved Jutsikev, and that could ruin the medium runners' strategy. as we'll see, will the drivers on softs go for the mediums and try and risk, and possibly they could get a possible maybe puncture if they push the whole 12 or 13 laps. Died bomb from a Haas. That's very unfortunate, mate. Very unfortunate. But now this is important. Now, will Heblerino and Ben Roberts pit? As now we're
this could be very
looking.
interesting.
As Heblerino dives into the pits, does Ben Roberts dive as well? He does. So, as they nearly hit Heblerino, as now everyone pits. So
Did Skibix come into the pits?
As yeah, he have to do a two-step, and now it'll be a double stack. McLaren. So this is gonna hurt the Hebler by a lot, and that's very unfortunate. Ben Roberts goes behind Heblerino as Liam Shortbread and James will have stayed out. As Jutsi Kev goes for the hard tyres, so he's not going for the soft because he won't survive to the end. So he's going for the hard, so...
Seems like, yeah, quite a few have gone for the hards after pitting, which makes complete sense. It's unlikely you're going to be able to make that work, although quite a few drivers actually went for the hards, but... It's fine, Jutsi Kev went for the tyres that look better on his car. So yeah, it could be very, very interesting to see what he can do. As the tyres of the people in front go off towards the end, he'll be able to gain an advantage. But interestingly, I doubt that the people who didn't pit on lap 1 are going to come in now, because they're going to just be thrown right at the back. So it's unlikely they're going to pit, like, at all.
Yeah, there's a good chance, but there could be another safety car, you never know. But there's a low chance. As now we'll see what can the top 3 will actually, I'll say. I believe James will stay out. The top 2 probably will stay out as well, unless they don't want to stay at the back. But let's see now. Shortbright doesn't come in. JB Cyril does not as well. So they will be trying maybe to have the fresher tyres and possibly try and go after the drivers who are on the mediums. So they will be under threat from the Liam and Shortbread.
Indeed. Now these soft runners, Shortbread and Liam, they are going to have to do very interesting strategy here. They're going to lose a lot of time when they eventually pit. So these guys are going to struggle a lot. They're really going to have a tough race on their hand unless there's a second safety car, which could happen. Not saying it's not going to, but who knows. But
yeah, definitely.
I still find it very interesting that the Mercedes didn't pit, because the Mercedes doesn't have a teammate, so there's no risk of double stacking. It doesn't make sense to me why you wouldn't under that scenario.
Probably for fresher rubber. Possibly.
Potentially. But who knows? This is Formula 1. Anything can happen, and if anything can happen, it probably will. And if you're not going forwards, you're going backwards in Formula 1. So that's a few pretty good quotes there.
As our safety car
got the opportunity.
Is in this lap, so Shortbread will become the de facto safety car. A safety car, I'll say, because I said safety car. So that was very, very strange for when I said the A.
We've got great pronunciation here at Gavra Racing. If we can't pronounce it right, we'll butcher it. So, welcome to Gavra Racing. We hope you're having a fantastic time on our absolute pronunciation mess. But
We have to move
we
on
are
now.
about to get back underway here at Circuit of the Americas, and Shortbread is going to lead the way. He's going to take it right to the line, and off he goes.
Good
And
start
here we
from
go.
Shortbread.
A really good start. He's already pulled a pretty significant gap here. JMB was looking maybe for the inside of Liam, but thinks better of it as Heblerino slips past. They're now running nearly side by side through the S's. They don't end up running side by side. It would be nice, but it's very tough to do. Ooh, as Ben Roberts gets past JMB, and now can Tabai? I think Tabai's under AI maybe, because he is having a very... I can't tell.
No, he's not
Very
under AI.
interesting.
As now Black Pixel
Doesn't
looks
matter.
to the outside. Can he get the move done? He cannot. But now he'll try and go under the slipstream. As now MRCS is closing in as well, but Isaac Smart is behind him now. Is he going to try and look to the inside? He's going to try and do the dive, but he's not. But very audacious dive from the Hebler, and Black Pixel
Isaac
capitalizes.
Smart just got past Merckx, and Merckx tried to send it back down the inside, got a penalty for it. De Hebler, and Black Pixel, sorry, going at it. I wonder how many Black Pixel has on his screen when he's behind another car. Well, we'll find out when he either catches up or gets overtaken by another car. That was a really bad joke, so just forget it. But De Hebler on Jutskev is the move we are about to see happen right now. As down the inside De Hebler goes, can Jutskev keep it round the outside? He's trying, he's using ERS, he's just about kept it around the outside, but can De Hebler go side? Ooh, De Hebler can't go side by side through the S's because there's a bit of contact there between De Hebler and Jutskev. Stop laughing at me. Repeater's doing donuts.
Yeah,
I'm guessing that's what
I
you're
was laughing at that.
Alright.
Our
not
Peter
me,
was
thanks.
spinning like after. So yeah, probably the temperatures were just low down on his tires, and he had basically the opposite to ice tires, to grill it tires. So as now he just sends it to the wall for some reason. So I don't know what he is doing. As now there's a virtual safety car, he just slams it into the wall. I was just looking at the back of that again. He just sends it to the wall.
That virtual safety car is at a bad time for Liam 567, who had just lost the place to Ben Roberts, and they were about to go side by side until the virtual safety car neutralised that. In an instant, they could no longer battle. They could no longer do anything here. Which is very interesting. If you're Liam, it's going to be a bit of a struggle there. As now we're waiting to get green flag running. Shortbread's pit.
Yeah, Shortbread has pit, so...
utilising the virtual safety car.
Yeah, so
That's
he is.
It puts him right out in last, but he has utilised that, unlike the people that haven't pit, which is Liam and JMB. They've not pit under the virtual safety car, which they could have done. And actually, Shortbread basically got a free pit stop there. Very, very good stuff from Shortbread, judging when to pit there. Leaves Ben Roberts out in the lead. Liam in second, but Heblerino might make that third.
It's JMB Sorrell.
JMB's gone round. He's one of the drivers not to pit, and he's about to be overtaken by a driver who has pit. Heblerino, though, is about to get a move on Liam as he pulls alongside the Mercedes, and already a car in front. Liam tries to hold it a little bit, but ends up getting overtaken by Tabai temporarily. But Tabai couldn't actually make the move done. But now Tabai is under threat from Black Pixel, maybe, as Tabai is just sending it after sending it on other drivers. A bit of a dirty manner here.
Yes, now he's going
Gets
round the
past
outside.
Liam. Oh, there's contact between Liam and Tabai. That's
a-
not what you want to see. Black Pixel nearly went straight into the side pod there of Liam, and that would have been a very nasty incident there. And now
That was very
Black Pixel
nasty.
is behind Tabai. Can Black Pixel get past Tabai though? He might be able to. Not on this straight though. He's really not been able to get quite enough speed there. Merckx has just been overtaken by Isaac Smart there. I wonder if the Red Bull is struggling a bit here. But Shortbread, your pole sitter, down in 9th, really hasn't been able to have a great race thus far. And he's struggling a bit. He did just set the purple sector 1 though, so I'm saying that as he then goes and does a Lewis Hamilton, you say his tyres are gone, and then he goes and sets 6 fastest laps in a row. So interesting
Black
stuff
Pixel.
here from Shortbread.
He's now trying to go down the inside. Very easy move with DRS, but now can Jutikov dive down the inside of Heavy Top Decks, as that was
Bit
a
of contact.
very bit of contact between the two of them. As now Jutikov go round the outside, pretty nice move. Heavy Top Decks loses 2 positions in the space of 3 corners, but I thought it was going to be at 3 because the Hebler's right behind now. So
The Hebler is very far, not very far behind, no, very close behind, and could
Heblerino.
overtake Tabai very shortly. Heblerino, yeah, fast lap there. Some interesting stuff going on here. Shortbread took the fastest lap, as I did say. He was got the fastest sector 1 and was doing basically a Lewis Hamilton, and he does exactly as asked. And he's actually caught up to the Red Bull of Merckx. Isaac Smart still not far behind De Hebler or Tabai. There's still a lot of positions here up for grabs, even if you're in a bit of a disadvantaged place here. Shortbread is looking to maybe clamber a bit more into the points, maybe, if he's got the pace here. He looks to have the pace. And could potentially get into maybe 5th if he really gets a move on. Ooh, he has a bit of a rear end squirm there though as he tries to get past Merckx. Not a great time for the Alfa Romeo.
Jutikov down the inside he goes and makes a move down into the podium places. So Jutikov on the pace, Byron. He could try and challenge Heblerino, which has a 3-second.
You were saying about challenging Heblerino. Well, De Hebler has been challenged. He lost a place to Isaac Smart, and Shortbread got past Merckx at very similar times where the moves being made, and now it is up to Isaac Smart to see if he can get past Tabai Top Decks, who is Tabai Top Decks. He's just all over the circuit here, and Isaac Smart, he's got a great opportunity to overtake Tabai here, as Tabai got a shocking exit out of the final corner. Can Tabai go for the switchback though? He tries it. Will he be able to hold it? No, he's not able to hold it here. As now they go through the S section, there's practically no overtaking here, but Tabai is cutting as many corners as he can humanly see. As just keeping an eye on the action. Black Pixel obviously being overtaken by Jutkov. That was butchered. Jutkov. Jutkov now not far behind Heblerino, and Heblerino isn't far behind your race leader, Ben Roberts. Could be a very good race for Jutkov if he really gets the move on here.
Yeah, so at the moment Heblerino is losing the championship by 1 point, if I'm correct. Yes, Ben Roberts is winning the championship by 1 point if Heblerino gets another penalty, but at the moment he's fourth because of Black Pixel. So now this is not looking good for Heblerino. So Ben Roberts is at the moment the world champion here in Gavra Racing for the weekend league season 6. So at the moment he's going to be the champion, but Isaac Smart is closing in as well at that, but it's getting overcast, Byron.
Could we see rain yet again? If it is going to rain, it'll be maybe on the last 2 laps, I think, if low grip conditions. Could play pretty well for some drivers. We saw in the first race, some drivers really thrived in the wet over the dry conditions. Could be very interesting to see. Heblerino, though, he's actually not far behind Ben Roberts as it stands, as the race is just kind of fizzling out a bit. There's not so much action to talk about, but now Shortbread actually is behind De Hebler and Tobai Top Decks. So Shortbread could get up into 6th as it stands. De Hebler gets past Tobai Top Decks with ease here as the McLaren slots into P6 in this race. What can Shortbread do? Will there be a little window for him to maybe get past? Not there. Not going to be able to make anything work around there. There's a bit of contact between the McLaren and Haas, which then leads to contact between the Haas and Alfa Romeo, so
yeah,
that should be interesting.
Yeah, so at the moment, Ben Roberts is first with 15 points, as now Heblerino is going to now get the slipstream from Ben Roberts, as now Heblerino will brake very late, try and go around the outside. He's going to do the switchback, but it's just too far. He gets a punt. Yeah, he gets a hit, I believe, from Heblerino. Now he's lost all the pace he had. And now Black Pixel is third, but Jutsikev is right behind him. He's pressurizing him. As now James Bishop picks up the fastest lap of 33.9. Well done to him. As now he picks up 2 points for the Britman, British driver, if you prefer. But look how close Heblerino is now. Ben Roberts just moving to break the slipstream, as now he's getting a lot closer. Now Ben Roberts has no ERS. Ben Roberts is now going to go to the outside, but as now what's happened here, as now Isaac Smart is looking for the move on Jutsikev, as now this is being a fierce fight to the top 5 fight for the win.
Yeah, this is the battle for first that goes down to 5th. However, there's a lot of contact between Jutsikev and Isaac Smart, which sees Jutsikev lose over 5/10 in one corner. There's a massive amount of contact, losing loads of time there. And it means Jutsikev isn't in the DRS of Black Pixel, which is a pretty big disadvantage. He's going to need some rapid pace here in order to be able to actually keep that DRS train that they've kind of got here. They're not really able to move much here. Heblerino, though, needs to keep within a second of Ben Roberts desperately. It's very important that he does, because he's got a driver behind him who has DRS on him.
Yeah, so
it could be very interesting.
15, 12, 10, 8. So if Heblerino takes 4th, and Ben Roberts stays first, he wins the championship by 1 point. Because 8 plus 7 is 15. So Heblerino is under threat for the world championship here. So that 3-second penalty can decide the world championship here. So unless if Black Pixel or Jutsikev gets a penalty, as Liam picks up a 3-second penalty time penalty for definitely a warning of the S's, as now I was someone shortbread closing in Byron on Tabby Dubdex, as now he tries to go round the outside. He catches Tabby Dubdex napping, it looks like. But I believe it's not going to rain because it looks very overcast, but I don't think it's going to rain. If it was going to rain, they had to rain very fast, but it looks like Tabby Dubdex is struggling with these tyres. As now I'm going to flip back to the tyre age as 10 laps. So Heblerino is staying at DRS as Ben Roberts has little ERS he has, but Heblerino has a bit. And Black Pixel has 30%, so Black Pixel is as well contesting for the win. So, this is interesting.
Crucially, though, Heblerino is going to be begging that Ben Roberts or Black Pixel or Jitsi Kev gets a 3-second time penalty. Because as it stands, Heblerino could actually fall to 5th. Providing it remains as close as it is now,
Heblerino
could drop.
He now takes the move and takes the lead on the penultimate lap, but Ben Roberts is now trying to go round the outside. Championship rivals now close, and now Ben Roberts does the switchback as now Heblerino forces Ben Roberts wide and picks up a 3-second time penalty. So that means that penalty will get cancelled, definitely. Because Heblerino forced Ben Roberts a bit wide, and Ben Roberts cut that, and he got a 3-second time penalty. So that means that could get deleted. So, and now there's the final lap of the race. So, as now Ben Roberts dives into the inside of Heblerino. Great move. As now Jitsikev is closing as well. This is a great fight.
Yes, this could go down to the wire.
That is
because
a shortbread spinning. He spun.
Shortbread's taking a tumble. Now Jitsikev could get Heblerino and make it bad to worse for Heblerino.
Yeah, so Jitsikev is at the moment the race winner, but as now Heblerino is closing in on Ben Roberts again. Both of them have no ERS to deploy, as now Ben Roberts was going to try and look to the inside of Heblerino. This is absolutely stunning race as Isaac Spot picks up a penalty. That helps Heblerino a lot. So, I believe Heblerino, I think he's the champion. I'm not sure, but I think he is.
He could be, but it all goes down to the wire. We don't know until the results are final. But big mistake from Jitsikev.
Jitsikev, as now Ben Roberts gets the move. Now it's nearly a photo finish. Ben Roberts. I'm just looking now. It's Heblerino winning the championship. Round of applause.
That's all very dependent, though. That's all very dependent on if Ben Roberts' penalty gets removed. Remember, you said he was forced wide. If that penalty is removed, that could mean that Ben Roberts is the champion. So the champion is unknown in this scenario. And
so yes, that is true.
I think the rain might have just started falling at the track. Not sure.
No, I don't think so. Wow, what a race to end the season. So it's as now it's up to the stewards. Will they cancel the penalty of Ben Robert because he got forced wide and he cut it and he had nothing else to do? So let's see what will happen. So Ben Roberts, we're not sure. So we saw that you got forced wide and you got that penalty. So if they remove the penalty and because you got first, that means you're the champion. So Ben Roberts,
but who knows?
if your penalty gets cancelled, that means you get the championship. But if they decide not to remove it, then Heblarina's the champion by 1 slim point. So amazing job from both of you guys. But at the moment, Heblarino the champion. Ben Roberts, his penalty is still probably due to be decided. But yeah, that was a great race. Black Pixel, Jutsi Kev, and Ben Roberts on the podium at the moment. Heblarino 4th, Isaac Smart 5th, De Hebler 6th, Shortbread 7th, Tavi Dodex 8th, MRCS takes 9th, JP Stewart takes 10th, Liam takes 11th, and LP to close up the grid with a DNF, which, yeah, but had the one locked up, so it would be a penalty anyways. Great season, guys. What a shame. I could be that tonight. Yeah, it's fine, mate. It's fine. It's fine, Andy. It was a great race. So, Ben Roberts, if his penalty gets removed, he will win.
Apparently he got a warning on the last lap. So even if the warning he got, which earned him that penalty, was removed, he still would have got the penalty from the warning he got on the last lap. So by that logic, Heblarino is the champion of Weekend Series, providing that is genuinely the case.
That was Kevin Jutsi saying Ben had a warning. Oh, he did have a warning on the final. As now, Ben had a warning. Oh, yeah, I didn't see that. So that could be very, very crucial. So I believe it is Heblarino. So some investigations to look to. But at the moment, Heblarino the champion. But you never know. But that brings an end to the season and on F1 2020 for the Weekend League. As there's just one more month till the new game comes out and the Weekend League start underway when the main leagues actually start. So yeah, we're gonna see what will the next season bring, season 7, Byron. But it was thanks for joining me today, and it was a great today, and I'll see you guys soon. And yeah, make sure you join us, I believe, for Sets a Course on Saturday this next weekend for round number 4, I believe. And for I'm not sure what circuit, but last time out it was on Hungary. It wasn't recorded, unfortunately. But I'll see you guys very soon, and it's a goodbye from me and Byron.